You found the ticket. The face value looked reasonable, the kind of number that made you decide to go. You clicked through, you entered the queue, you waited. The countdown timer ran, and then you were at the checkout page, and the number in the total field was not the number you had started with. There were service fees, an order processing fee, a facility charge. Each one had a name, none of them had been visible at the start. Together they had added 30, 50, sometimes more than 100% to a ticket you thought you had already priced. You paid it, because you had been in the queue for 45 minutes, and the show was selling out, and the face value you had started with was no longer the question. That sequence, the reasonable face value, the queue, the fees appearing only at the final screen, is not a billing process. It is a pricing architecture. It was designed to produce a specific outcome at a specific moment. And it works because of one documented fact about what happens to a buyer's decision-making after 45 minutes in a purchase queue. This is the story of how that architecture was built, who controls it, and the 3 ways out of it. In May 2024, the United States Department of Justice filed an antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation Entertainment. The complaint runs to 128 pages. The word monopoly appears 67 times. The filing describes, in the government's own language, a company that controls venue ownership, artist management, ticketing, and promotion simultaneously, and uses each to reinforce the others. The DOJ did not file that complaint because ticket fees are annoying. It filed because the structure that produces those fees is, in the government's documented position, illegal. Ticketmaster was founded in 1976. For most of its early history, it operated as a straightforward ticketing service. Venues used it to sell tickets, it charged a service fee, the fee was disclosed up front. The transformation of the fee structure into what it is now happened in stages and is traceable through specific decisions. The first stage was consolidation. Live Nation went public in 2005. It controlled venue promotion across hundreds of major venues. In 2010, Live Nation merged with Ticketmaster to form Live Nation Entertainment. The DOJ approved the merger with conditions. Specifically, that the combined entity would not use venue control to coerce artists into using Ticketmaster exclusively. A 2019 DOJ investigation found that Live Nation had violated those conditions repeatedly. The conditions were tightened. The violations, according to the DOJ's 2024 complaint, continued. The second stage was dynamic pricing, introduced for major events in 2011 under the name Platinum Tickets. The mechanism is documented in Ticketmaster's own public statements. Platinum ticket pricing uses real-time demand data, search volume, queue length, purchase velocity, to set ticket prices above face value. The algorithm calculates what the market will bear at each moment and prices accordingly. Face value becomes a floor, not a price. The number you see in the search results is the starting point of a calculation, not the cost of the ticket. The third stage was fee opacity, the deliberate placement of service fees, facility charges, and order processing fees at the final checkout screen rather than in the initial listing. The fees were present in every transaction. They were visible only at the moment of maximum commitment. In 2023, the FTC proposed a rule requiring all-in pricing disclosure, the full cost of a ticket, including all fees, displayed from the first search result. Ticketmaster and Live Nation lobbied against it. As of early 2026, the rule had not been fully implemented across all ticketing platforms. The reason the queue works, the reason you paid a total that was significantly higher than the number you started with, has a name. Social psychologists call it escalation of commitment, first formally described by Barry Staw in a 1976 paper in Organizational Behavior and Human Performance. The mechanism is this: once a person has invested time, effort, or resources into a course of action, the brain reframes the cost of continuing as smaller than the cost of the accumulated investment being wasted. After 45 minutes in a ticket queue, the brain is no longer calculating whether this ticket is worth the final total. It is calculating whether 45 minutes is worth losing. Those are different calculations, and they produce different answers. The queue is not a technical limitation. Ticketmaster's infrastructure handles millions of transactions. The queue experience, the countdown timer, the seat hold warning, the "you have 2 minutes" notification, is a designed psychological environment. Each element increases the perceived cost of leaving. By the time the checkout screen appears with its fees, the escalation of commitment is complete. The decision to pay was made in the queue, not at the checkout page. Knowing this does not dissolve the feeling. The 45 minutes are still spent. What it gives you is the ability to make the checkout decision before you enter the queue, when the commitment investment is zero and the calculation is still clean. Live Nation's 2023 annual report states that Ticketmaster processed 620 million tickets. The reported revenue from ticketing fees in 2023 was $2.7 billion. For major events, stadium concerts, arena shows, the fee structure that produced your total is the primary revenue driver of a company with $22.7 billion in total revenue in 2023. The fee is not incidental to the business. It is the business. The artist's relationship with Ticketmaster is the part of the architecture that is least visible from the outside. Under the venue promotion model Live Nation operates, artists who tour primarily at Live Nation venues, which represents the majority of major amphitheaters and arenas in the United States, have limited practical ability to use a competing ticketing platform. The DOJ's 2024 complaint describes specific instances of Live Nation using venue access as leverage to retain Ticketmaster as the exclusive ticketing provider. The artist who set the face value of your ticket at a number they considered fair had limited control over what was added to it afterward. Fan-to-fan resale, StubHub, Vivid Seats, SeatGeek, operates on the same dynamic pricing logic as Ticketmaster Platinum, with the additional variable of individual seller pricing decisions. The resale market exists because Ticketmaster's fee structure and Platinum pricing created arbitrage opportunities that third parties fill. The secondary market is not a separate problem. It is the downstream consequence of the primary pricing architecture. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour pre-sale in November 2022 is the most documented single event exposure of the Ticketmaster architecture. 14 million people entered the pre-sale queue. Ticketmaster's system generated 3.5 billion system requests in a single day. 4 million tickets were sold. 10 million people who had waited in the queue for hours left with nothing, at which point the remaining inventory appeared on resale platforms at multiples of face value within hours. The Senate Commerce Committee convened a hearing. Ticketmaster executives testified. The DOJ investigation that produced the 2024 antitrust complaint was accelerated. The Eras Tour presale did not create the architecture. It made it impossible to not see. 3 specific alternatives to Ticketmaster exist for major events, each with documented use cases. First, artist presales and fan club allocations. Most major touring artists maintain a direct presale process, typically through their official website or a dedicated fan platform, that releases a portion of tickets before the general Ticketmaster sale. These tickets are sold at face value without Platinum pricing, through a system the artist controls. Signing up for an artist's official mailing list is the only requirement. The presale window is typically 24 to 48 hours before general on-sale. Second, venue box offices. Under the terms of the DOJ's 2019 consent decree with Live Nation, venues are required to make a portion of tickets available through the box office directly. Box office tickets are sold at face value without service fees or facility charges. Calling the venue box office directly, not the Ticketmaster number, before tickets go on general sale is the access point. Third, DICE and C-tickets for specific genres and markets. DICE uses a waitlist resale model, where face value tickets returned by buyers go back into a waitlist rather than to resale platforms. C-tickets operate similarly for a portion of its inventory, for club shows, theater events, and independent venue bookings. Both platforms are Ticketmaster alternatives with transparent fee structures disclosed up front. The checkout screen with its accumulated fees is the last moment in the sequence. The 3 alternatives above operate before that screen exists. The decision about which system you are in is made before you enter the queue. You found the ticket. The face value was real. The artist set it at a number they considered fair for the show. What was added to it afterward, the service fee, the facility charge, the order processing fee, the dynamic pricing premium, was calculated by a separate system, disclosed at a separate moment after the queue had done its work. The ticket is still there. What the number next to it was calculating the entire time is now something you know.